This podcast was written and created by Avi Melamed, Middle East intelligence analyst and founder of the Inside the Middle East Institute.
ITME is dedicated to apolitical, non-partisan education about the Middle East.
Today, we're getting into some pretty complex geopolitics in southern Syria.
That's right. It's based on that Avi Melamed piece.
Exactly. The flare-up in southern Syria challenges both Israel and the new Syrian regime. So our mission, really, is to unpack how these, seemingly local clashes between Druze and Bedouin tribes, how they ripple outwards and create these big challenges for the new Syrian regime, and importantly for Israel, too.
And it's especially relevant if you're maybe newer to all the layers of Middle East politics.
Right. It shows why local stuff often has huge regional weight. So let's start with Syria. What did this flare-up really expose about President al-Shara's new regime?
Well, the article points out Syria is just incredibly fragmented. You've got this long, long history of hostility between different groups.
Often violent, right?
Very violent. And almost everyone has weapons. Some groups even have their own paramilitary units. It's intense.
And on top of that, the daily conditions are just brutal, a devastated country.
Exactly. And then you have minority groups, Kurds, Druze, Alawites, feeling excluded, nervous about the regime's background, the Salafi jihadi roots.
Which makes sense why they might see something like a federal system as maybe a partial answer.
Precisely. Now, what's fascinating is al-Hura was working hard for international legitimacy, trying to get the U.S. regional players on board for reconstruction.
Presenting a more moderate face.
Trying to, yes. But then this crisis hit Sweden. Reports of atrocities, and critically, by all sides, including regime forces.
So that undermines the whole effort.
Completely. It casts the shadow, brings back all the suspicion about the regime's true nature. Can it really escape its past? That's the big question hanging over it.
Okay, so shifting gears. How did this same conflict put Israel in such a difficult spot, forcing them to kind of rethink their own red lines on Syria?
Yeah, it's really interesting. The article mentions two key red lines for Israel.
The first one being
opposition to Syrian regime forces anywhere near the Golan Heights border. Israel's view, unlike some others, was that this new regime wasn't truly moderate.
The wolf in sheep's clothing idea?
Exactly that phrase. They remain deeply skeptical.
And the second red line?
Their commitment to protect the Druze community in Syria. Israel sees them as, potential allies.
And there's an internal angle, too, right, with Israeli Druze citizens?
A huge internal angle. The fear was that Israeli Druze, some serving right there in the IDF, would feel compelled, morally obligated, to go help their kin in Syria.
Wow, that would be an incredibly difficult situation for Israel internally.
A potential crisis, absolutely. Shows how deep those cross-border community ties run.
So connecting the dots, Israel initially acted forcefully, militarily, to uphold these lines.
They did. Vigorous action at first.
But then a sudden policy reversal. Why?
The article suggests two main things. First, the U.S. position. The Trump administration had backed al-Hura, given him legitimacy, and they weren't keen on Israeli military action there.
Okay, U.S. pressure. What else?
Israel's own calculation. They assessed that letting regime forces in might actually stop the Druze Bedouin fighting from escalating further.
So contain the bloodshed, even if it meant compromising a red line to avoid deeper Israeli involvement.
That seems to have been the thinking. But the consequences were immediate.
How so?
That worst-case scenario, it became very real. Reports, mentioned in the article, of about 2,000 Israeli Druze, including IDF members, volunteering to go fight in Syria.
It's exactly what they feared.
Precisely. And this reversal, it caused real anger, a feeling of betrayal among Druze on both sides of the border. It hit Israel's image hard.
Damaging that perception of strength and reliability.
Yes, amplifying that narrative you hear in the region sometimes, that Israel is a power that, quote, cannot be trusted.
So wrapping this up, what's the key takeaway for you, the listener? I mean, this deep dive really shows how history, local fights, outside pressures, it's all tangled together in the Middle East.
It really is.
A small flare-up can just redraw the lines very, very quickly.
And it underscores that idea. In the Middle East, history is the present. It's not just backstory, it's active. These atrocities, sadly committed by everyone involved, just highlight the ingrained violence.
The article's stark phrase, "The weak have no future."
It's a grim observation, but it reflects a harsh reality sometimes. So maybe something for you to think about. What does this one incident tell us about the deep, ongoing challenges to building trust and stability when history and modern power politics collide so forcefully?
This podcast is made possible by supporters like you. ITME is an independent nonprofit institute committed to apolitical, intelligence-based Middle East education.
To learn more or to support our work, visit our website www.insidethemiddle-east.com